This is the 6th year for the Nissan Leaf. That's 6 years without a major redesign, and in car years, that's ancient. Still, the Leaf is very much the face of the electric vehicle. It's the best-selling EV in the world with over 200,000 units sold as of December, about half of those in the US. But in the past 6 years, Ford, Kia, Volkswagen, BMW, they've all come out with electric options that are of around the same price and range. So to stay competitive, for 2016, Nissan has decided to up the battery capacity for its mid-level SV and top-tier SL trims. Previously, all Leafs got a 24 kilowatt battery pack, and while the base S trim will retain that, the SV and SL trims get a 30 kilowatt pack this year, which is good for 107 miles, up from 84 previously. But is it capable of those numbers? Well, to test that out, we're going to leave the Oakland Hills this morning and go on a very familiar excursion for a lot of Bay Area residents. We're going to head up to wine country. With an 86-mile round trip, it should be able to make without even needing a recharge, but we'll see how it does. So the rest of the changes for 2016 are actually applicable to this little experiment as well, because Nissan has put a standard quick charge point in all SV and SL trims. And they claim that's capable of recharging the battery to 80% capacity from empty in just 20 or 30 minutes. Now that is very impressive if true, but I have not found that these quick charge points are all that numerous just yet. I've spoken to a lot of Leaf owners who have said the same, and worse than that, there's usually just one port at each station, so you'll end up getting there and somebody is already using it, which absolutely screws you if you're really low on battery. Or a lot of times they're broken too, which is disappointing. What's it like in your area? Do you have a lot of quick charge access? I found 3 up here in Napa that we're going to visit, so I guess we'll see exactly how much luck we have or need once we get up there. But I'm looking here, and in the last 20 miles of driving, I've lost 30 miles of range. So we might be running out of luck here. And that's really frustrating because I've got nearly 2 trees up here on the eco meter. So I know I'm driving judiciously, we'll say, as opposed to my usual habits. More than that, Nissan warns that frequent use of the quick charge port, more than 2 or 3 times a week, can actually increase battery degradation by about 10%. So if you're looking to do long-term, longer commuting with this, you're going to be wearing down your battery more easily if you're using the quick charge a lot. Also, you're not supposed to, just like with most lithium-ion batteries, charge beyond 80%. You don't want to keep it up at 100 for too long. So that's going to take that 107-mile range and drop down to a real-world usability of about 85 miles, which is just exactly what the old reported total range for the 24 kilowatt battery was. So the good news is that the bigger battery is actually the same size. It's just more efficient. And because it's located under the seats here, not in the trunk like in most electrics or hybrids, that means that the impressive interior space of the Leaf is totally untouched, and that the 500-pound package of that battery and controller is directly underneath you, which is exactly where you want it. It also means that in the trunk you've got 24 cubic feet of space, which is really impressive in the electric segment, and 30 if you fold down the rear seats. Now, MSRP on a base S trim Leaf is just $29,000. For the top tier SL trim here, you're talking about $36,790. Now here they've added the premium package, which gives you the Bose stereo and the 360-degree around view monitor, and that's $1,500. They've also added $200 floor mats and an $850 delivery and destination charge, and that brings this walkaway price to just $600 short of 40 grand. Now that doesn't take into account any of the federal incentives that are offered. For a car like the Leaf, that's $7,500, and certain states offer their own rebates and incentives. California doubles up on that for another $2,500. So that's $10,000 of discount right there. Plus, California also has the No Charge to Charge program, which gives you unlimited free charging at participating stations for the first 2 years. Now that's part of a program that BMW and Nissan have partnered with to increase access to these charging stations. So you can only expect those to increase in the coming years. This is actually the first Leaf I've driven, and what surprised me the most was how slow it was for how fast it feels. You know, it's not as quick off the line as a BMW i3, for instance, but it still has that immediate electric torque punch that hits you as soon as you hit the gas. But it just kind of stops after that for a little bit. It's like a sentence that you didn't know how to complete. You just end up waiting. But it's still really, really fun, especially for a car that takes about 10 seconds to get to 60 miles an hour. It's about the same as a Nissan Versa for comparison. There's just a lot to be said for making slow feel fast. Plus, this is a small thing, but it should be noted, the brake feel is some of the best I've ever encountered in any electric or hybrid car I've driven. You get none of the wooden blockiness that you usually get in those kinds of setups with all the regenerative braking. It's really, really nice here. Well, we made it. And in a 36-mile trip to Napa, we ended up using about 46% of our battery capacity. Lost a little over 50 miles of range. But we did find a quick charge point. So we plugged in, grabbed something to eat, and 30 minutes later came out to a totally recharged battery, more than enough to drive around and make it home without concern. So as it turns out, the Leaf is a totally livable alternative to traditional cars, as long as your commute is under 80 miles. It can even handle a weekend trip if you can find a quick charge point. The good news is it's not the only option out there anymore. Hey, thanks for watching. Don't forget to subscribe and click the link in the description. You can head over to CarGurus.com and read my full review of the 2016 Nissan Leaf.